We have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put 2 dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man to go nuts if he can't shoot. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
Queen.
sense.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
In my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't here for my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get mad. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on their necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of Eric
It's a cut on the gas, other one on their necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they No.
Oh, bon Dieu. You alright, mama?
Trying to handle some business. I need to go a couple words so that I don't repeat.
You trying to get some business?
I'm trying to take care of some business. I don't want to get overheated out here doing what I got to do. Can I have a cup of water?
Oh, I got you, baby. Go get you a cup of water.
Thanks, buddy.
Oh, boy,
I don't know phone, but I'll just try to.
Yo, that's hand sanitizer.
So I know Trump is innocent. I support Trump against this corrupt, two-tiered justice system. That's why I'm here to show my support as a black man for Trump. And I'm wearing my shirt, Niggas for Trump 2024, and I mean that. So I know Trump is innocent. I support Trump against this corrupt.
Now, I'm sorry, but that is absolutely the most nefarious thing that I have seen any of us do for Trump. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. This is all absolutely crazy. Okay, everyone please like and share. Thank you all, beloveds, for tuning in once again to the Queen Ahmadiyyah TV show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah and this is your Daily Vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Now, it may look a little dim in here. I turned off one of my lights because it was flickering like it's really trying to go out on me. Okay, and it looks like a strobe light. So I turned it off. Anyway, with that all being said, I'll get that replaced soon. So let's get into it. Everyone, please get those likes up so I can share. Make sure that you're still subscribed to the channel, especially if you have not been receiving those notifications. Do a double check. And also, don't forget what I told you about unsubscribing and then resubscribing so you know, turn your notifications on so hopefully that you'll get them. All right. You all know they have the Queen Shadow Band, honey. It's also nefarious. You can tell because when the live ends, no matter how many people are in here watching, when it ends, it goes down to like 30 or 40. And they claim they're filtering out fake views. Okay, how do they have fake views? Make it all make sense. All right, Miss Elevation said, and the nefariousness continues. It absolutely does, beloved. It absolutely does. So let's get into it. First of all, I have the receipts on Trump. While that man is sitting there talking about ninjas for Trump and he's innocent against this wicked judicial system. Wonder if he has the same thoughts about people who look like him who actually have to deal with a wicked system that is totally unjust. I just have questions. But let's talk about this man that basically, let me make sure I have this overlay on here, who was talking to reporters yesterday and then messed around and hijacked a bus here in Atlanta. Okay, please pay attention. So I'm going to get into that. I'm going to pull up these news reports just as soon as I get this overlay up here. Okay, here we go. All right. My mic is picking up everything. I need to turn it down. Okay. I can hear it picking up everything. Let me just move it back a little bit. Okay, so now let's get into it because this is all nefarious as far as I'm concerned. Man killed in Georgia bus hijacking, allegedly shot with his own gun by suspect, according to the police. And so let's get into it. Hold on, let me get rid of this. First off, I'm going to go to the footage where this guy is literally talking to a reporter. No, actually, hold on. Yeah, I think I need to go to that first. Let me find it real quick. Okay, here it is. Now, this is the guy who supposedly hijacked the bus, and he's sitting there rambling with a news reporter prior to him snatching the bus. Okay, here we go.
On Tuesday,
let me get my overlay on here real quick.
myself and some other reporters were covering a shooting that had happened in the food court of the Peachtree Center development here in downtown Atlanta. And we were standing on this corner and we met a man who said his name was Joseph Greer. Mr. Greer said he had come downtown to use the bank that is here on this corner and began to tell us his account of the shooting. But he was very rambling and very hard to follow and was jumping around a lot. And he said at one point that he had bipolar disorder and had been off his medication. What we did not know at that point was that Mr. Greer was going to walk several blocks away and board a Gwinnett County Transit bus and hijack it. We are told that once Mr. Greer got on the bus, that he got into a scuffle with a passenger who had a gun, disarmed the passenger, and shot the passenger with his own gun. The passenger later died. Mr. Greer then forced the bus driver to take the bus on a very long journey across multiple metro Atlanta area counties, where ramming into passenger vehicles and police vehicles until it finally pulled off the road in suburban DeKalb County, and police were able to arrest Mr. Greer. The passenger he had shot was unable to be revived and was declared dead at a hospital. There were a total of 17 passengers on the bus who were held hostage for well more than an hour.
Okay, so completely nefarious. And for those of you who were watching the broadcast that I did on this channel yesterday, you may recall that I told you that the day before yesterday, I had a vision that something crazy happened here in Atlanta with the shooting. Now, when I was reporting on that guy who was plotting to have a shooting at a rap concert here in Atlanta to take out people who look like me, I thought maybe that was it. But no, that wasn't it, because that actually happened in 2023 when he was plotting all of this. And then yesterday it came out that he was going to trial or whatever. And so, and that they had caught him and everything after setting him up with these undercover feds and all that stuff. But so I'm like, okay, why did I have that, that vision? Well, this is it. This is absolutely it. Oh, it's so crazy. I want y'all to pay attention. Y'all know the queen be predicting stuff a myriad of times, even 9/11, okay? Now, with that all being said, let's go to this other report about this. I mean, this man was sitting there talking to reporters and completely crazy at the same time. Demons, somebody in the chat said demons are running rampant. They absolutely are. Okay, so now here's another report. So sad, one person dead after a man took an Atlanta transit bus hostage. A man was reportedly on the scene of a mass shooting earlier that day. So let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. And then there was supposedly a mass shooting. So that's likely what my dream was pertaining to. Please pay attention. This is all crazy. Hold on here.
This morning, police searching for answers after a man hijacked a commuter bus in Georgia, killing one passenger on board.
Hostage situation on the Gwinnett bus. PD's on scene.
The dangerous chase started around 4:30 p.m. in downtown Atlanta.
Someone has the driver hostage, possibly will not let them stop the bus.
Police say the suspect, 39-year-old Joseph Greer, hijacked the transit bus with 17 people on board.
Our 911 operators trying to navigate what was a gunman with a gun to the head of a bus driver saying, "Don't stop this bus or else worse will happen." This is the type of thing that obviously no one it seems like the movies.
You can see the bus here driving up the wrong side of the road. Police following closely behind. The bus sideswiping a car as it continues fleeing from authorities. The high-speed chase ending in DeKalb County after police popped the tires, bringing it to a stop.
Hey, be advised, all units know that the suspect is at the door right now with a gun in his hand. So please, be careful.
As passengers exited the bus, SWAT team members began clearing it, discovering a passenger with a gunshot wound. The victim was transported to the hospital where they succumbed to their injuries.
My heart goes out to the family of the one individual that is deceased at this time. My heart also goes out to the individuals that had to endure this frightening journey across multiple jurisdictions this evening that was on this bus here.
What is happening?
This morning.
Okay, so that's clearly crazy. And so the mass shooting that he was at earlier in the day before all of this was at the Atlanta food court. Okay? So here's what they say. 3 victims, 1 suspect shot at downtown Atlanta food court, according to police. There's a whole lot going on in Atlanta. So now let's go to the report about that. I'm not even going to bother going to the report because it's only 20 seconds. So basically what they say is a fight sparked a shooting that injured 3 people at a food court in downtown Atlanta at a shopping center on Tuesday afternoon, according to the Atlanta mayor, Andre Dickens. Now, an altercation between 2 people broke out at the hub at Peachtree Center, and then one person pulled out a handgun and shot the person they were fighting with, according to police. The suspect, 34-year-old, also shot and injured 2 other people in the food court. Now, as people fled for safety, an off-duty officer from the Atlanta Police Department confronted the armed suspect and shot him. And this is what Atlanta Police Chief Darren Scheiberbaum said. Okay, everyone injured is alert, conscious, and breathing, they reported. Now, the victims were identified as a 47-year-old man, a 69-year-old woman, and a 70-year-old woman. Okay, the suspect's handgun had been recovered, and the suspect had served prison time for armed robbery. This is an individual who should have never been possessing a gun. Okay, I just want you all to pay attention. This is all so crazy. Like, what are the chances? Laverne said, I don't fool with Atlanta. Honey, too bad I have to live here. This is all crazy. Okay, Michael M. said, Queen, Jimmy, go do what you... Hold on. Jimmy gonna do what your royals comes. Queen, Jimmy, go do what want your royals to come down and restore law and order. Okay, are you asking me if I want the royals to come down and restore order, beloved? That's what it sounds like. Okay. No. Stay where you are, okay? Stay where you are. We got this. All right? Ron, that you said, this is crazy. Hey, Rashid, beloved, thank you for your kind words. So with that all being said, that's what my dream was about, because I told y'all the dream. I knew it was supposed to be a mass shooting here in Atlanta. Now, mind you, I told you all this yesterday before this incident was reported. Okay, please pay attention. I told you all this yesterday. So I'm just saying, there goes further proof that I've been getting these downloads. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about Fani Willis. Because Fani Willis said it ain't over until the fat lady sings. And she filed a motion to stay on Trump's case. All right? Georgia prosecutor files a motion in bid to stay on Trump's case. Fani said not so fast, okay? Because remember, Trump and all of them were trying to get her taken off of the case. So let's get into that. In the meantime, likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, so now this is breaking news, just so you know, because this is hot off the press. This just came out today. Michael M. says, you should have said, Queen, do you want your royals to come and restore law and order? Yeah, I don't want the royals coming down here getting themselves in any trouble, honey. Pay attention. All right, so let me go to this news clip. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Like I said, this is breaking news. This literally just came out today. All right? So let's get into it. Let me put an overlay up here because y'all know how to be hating on Queen. Y'all know how to be hating on the Queen, honey.
And some breaking news just coming in, impacting the Fulton County election interference case.
Atlanta News First Anchor and attorney Joylyn Nakrin is going over this brand new filing, Joy.
Yeah, and just into our newsroom within the last few moments, we received today's brand new order from the State Court of Appeals, and it puts a stay on all the proceedings in the election interference case involving the former President Trump. So that means All the hearings, all the arguments, all the rulings, all the other matters are on hold until the Court of Appeals rules on the matters that they are hearing for this case, namely whether District Attorney Fani Willis can actually stay on it or whether she should be disqualified. The appeals court is even reviewing the appeal for the charges to be dropped altogether. All this comes as former President Donald Trump is facing his sentencing in New York after being convicted on 34 counts of falsifying business records related to hush money payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels. His sentencing scheduled for July 11th. His legal team has vowed to appeal.
Trump and all these appeals tried as hard as he can to get out of all this trouble. Now, please pay attention. Then you have people who look like me talking about he's innocent and like it's basically trumped up charges. Okay, I just want y'all to pay attention. Now, here's what Nathan Wade had to say. And remember, that's Fani's alleged boyfriend, okay? This is what he said just yesterday. Nathan Wade says he believes Donald Trump will be tried in Georgia even if he wins the election, okay? So, hold on, beloveds. Trying to cue this real quick. Okay, here we go. Says former special prosecutor Nathan Wade spoke with CNN about Fulton County DA Fani Willis, Donald Trump, and the RICO case. Okay, I'm going to share my screen so you all can see this. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's like in excess of 20 minutes. It looks like.
Here in Atlanta, the Georgia Court of Appeals has just essentially guaranteed that this case that we were talking about, the 2020 election subversion case in the state of Georgia with Donald Trump and the slew of co-defendants, will not go to trial before the 2024 election. What role do you believe that your actions played in that?
I don't believe my actions played a role in it at all. I think that this is more of the same. It's a delay kind of thing. But let's talk about the process here. So we understand that there were nine defendants that were a part of the disqualification motion. They then, after the trial judge issued his ruling, they then asked for permission to appeal. The judge granted that. And then said, well, this does not stop the business of this particular court. We're going to keep moving. Well, now, as you've seen a few days ago, the Court of Appeals has said, hey, listen, there's a stay. The proceedings will stop. Mm-hmm. Then the court says, well, it will stop as to the 9 defendants that are named in the disqualification motion. But as to the other 6, we're going to keep moving forward. And just on yesterday, one of the defendants, one of the 6, decided to file pleading with the Court of Appeals and say and ask the Court of Appeals to say, wait, listen, trial court, I think that the stay applies to everyone named in the indictment, not just
those who are seeking
to disqualify.
But Donald Trump is one of those who is seeking to disqualify the district attorney Fani Willis from this. So essentially, he's not going to trial before November 2024. And you don't think that your actions played any role in that?
I don't. I think that the goal was to have this dog and pony puppet show, base it on things that were not relevant to the indictment. I think it's an interesting trial strategy to attempt to defend your client by attacking the prosecutors involved. But the 4 corners of that indictment speak for themselves. I think that the filings should have covered they were sufficient. The responsive filings were sufficient to cover any question that the court had, and could have given the court could have given a ruling based upon the filings without the need for that entire circus.
But initially, the district attorney and the office that you were working with previously were aiming for a summer trial date for all of this. And so when you look at what they are fighting, which is, it's not related to the indictment, it's related to the district attorney and you, it's at the center of this. Is there any part of you that believes it jeopardized, the years of hard work, the investigations that you did, the grand jury's work in all of this? Because it's not going to happen before the election.
So I'm very proud of the things that we were able to accomplish under my leadership. We were able to investigate that case thoroughly. We were able to successfully seek an indictment that speaks to the facts and the evidence that came out during the course of the investigation. That did take years. Spoke to a lot of people, had a lot of conversations, spoke to a lot of witnesses, saw a lot of evidence. It took years out of my life. I'm very passionate about it. I believe in the indictment. Certainly, I would have never done anything that I thought would jeopardize that hard work. But do I believe that my actions caused this delay? No. I do believe, though, that the timing of a personal relationship that I had was probably bad. It was bad timing. But you don't pick and choose when those things happen. They happen organically, and you deal with the situation as it comes.
Do you have regrets about it?
The only thing I regret is the timing of it.
Well, and the timing, of course, is really the crux of this.
Well, the crux of it is to slow down the inevitable, which is...
Yeah, so what happens if she gets ultimately removed from this case? Because that's what they're going to be hearing, the Court of Appeals. What happens to this case if Fani Willis is removed as the prosecutor here?
Well, the case has to be reassigned to another prosecuting entity. Now, whether or not that entity decides to proceed, I don't know.
But do you think there's a chance that it would be potentially dead if no other prosecutor is ready to step up to the plate and take this case?
Well, we're talking about a threat to democracy. This case is about democracy. It's very important to you, to me as an attorney. The rule of law is something that we all should take seriously. I couldn't tell you whether or not there are other prosecutors that are willing and waiting and excited about accepting this task, particularly in light of the threats that I've been getting and the threats that District Attorney Willis has been getting. This is a very, very dangerous role, and it's not to be taken lightly.
What happens to those who have taken guilty pleas here if Fani Willis is removed from the...
Get closer. Look deeper.
It's an okay conversation to have. We have fire.
I don't think people think a sitting president would actually be sent to jail. I mean, it would create a moment to see the evidence here of what's alleged in that indictment.
Oh, it's very important. But let's back up a moment. You said that I'm not sure about the constitutionality of trying a sitting president.
Yeah, do you believe he can, sorry if that wasn't clear, do you believe he can be on trial if he's in the White House?
I do believe that he can.
Okay.
I don't believe that it looks good to the rest of the world, but certainly I don't think that there's anything that will prevent that from happening.
What if he's convicted?
I don't understand the question. If he's convicted, then just like any other defendant who's convicted, then you go through the sentencing process.
But I don't think people think a sitting president would actually be sent to jail. I mean, it would create a moment like we've never seen in this country with the Secret Service, with who's enforcing that. And of course, he would be the head of a federal branch of government.
So now that's a much different question. We know that sentencing is totally up to the trial court. That judge that's sitting there, he's charged with making those types of decisions. Special prosecutors are not.
And when you reflect on this, since you've left the DA's office, How have you reflected on how the attention has not been on what's alleged that he did when it comes to overturning the election, but instead all the focus is on you?
I think it's a sad state of affairs when the American public gets misled and fed information that's inaccurate and causes them to go down a rabbit hole that's really irrelevant. I mean, we should be focusing on the indictment as charged.
Well, I think critics would hear that and say it's also about faith in the legal system and credibility and who is prosecuting.
Okay, I've heard enough of her BS and rambling. Let me tell you something. Now, I'm no fan of Fani Willis. Okay, let's be clear on that. But here's the problem I have with this whole thing. First of all, she's sitting there basically low-key trying to badger him. Okay, that's what she's doing. She's trying to do it in a nice, politically correct way. But what she's really trying to do is she's trying to blame him and Fani's relationship on the fact that, oh, well, you know, all the hard work that everybody put into investigating this now, do you feel responsible for that? No, here's the problem, okay? It's not whether or not he and Fani are responsible, because at the end of the day, Trump doesn't want to face those charges. Trump doesn't want to face those charges, so that's why he brought into question the fact that Fani and he were dating. Fani and Nathan Wade were dating. At the end of the day, that has little to do with the fact that everybody's talking about them rather than Trump. The reason everybody's talking about them rather than Trump is because they have been paraded out in the media. They've not spoken about Trump, but spoken about Fani and Nathan. That's what they did. So what he should have told her is that I don't in any way feel responsible for the story or the narrative being more about me and Fani Willis's relationship than it should be about Trump and his charges, because I hold the media responsible for that. You guys put the stories out. And you guys chose to focus on our relationship rather than Trump and his charges and allegations. So if you had done your due diligence, ma'am, and you focused on the matter that was really at hand, rather than trying to get us involved in a nefarious scandal that really is irrelevant because people can date, at the end of the day, we wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation, okay? Because everyone would still be focused on Trump and the crimes that he has been charged with. Okay, any more questions, ma'am? That's what I would have told her. Honey, please don't try with me, okay? Please don't try with me, because she was trying to do everything she could to paint he and Fani as the villains in this story, when we all know that the villain is none other than Trump. Okay, so please sit down somewhere, lady. Queen Ahmadiyyah said, Queen, tomorrow is my birthday and so is Trump's. Well, happy birthday to you, beloved, in advance. All right, Albert said he's crafty. Okay, Jamal said, I mean Nixon. Okay, yeah, because Nixon, right, with the whole Watergate scandal. And here's the thing. She tried to say that it would be something that's never happened in this country. If the president, a sitting president, gets convicted and then goes to jail, well, of course, they likely wouldn't send him to jail. And even if he's convicted and he's not the president, they're still likely not going to send Trump to prison, okay? That's what they're not going to do at the end of the day, because presidents can have Secret Service protection for the rest of their lives if they desire. So how would that work out? And she even mentioned something about the Secret Service. The bottom line is, stop trying to paint he and Fani as if they're the ones that are the problems. And if a president did get convicted while he was in office, okay, we all know what happened to Nixon. Now, Nixon, of course, resigned when those allegations came out against him because he knows he was darn guilty. And another thing is this. It could be unprecedented in this country for that to ever have happened, but a lot of things that are happening right now are, in fact, unprecedented in this country. For one, when have we ever had a sitting president's son convicted on federal charges? When has that ever happened? When have we ever had a sitting president's son be a known crack addict? When have we ever had a president who's in office have a son whose laptop supposedly had nefarious things on it, and then the FBI allegedly was helping to cover it all up? When has any of this ever happened? When have we had a president make the claims that Trump made about the election? When have we ever had a Capitol riot due to the people that were unpleased about the results of an election? None of these things have ever happened before, but they've all happened, lady. What are you talking about? unprecedented, or however she phrased it. Okay, so Tawana said Gerald Ford pardoned Nixon. And here's the thing, speaking of pardons, okay, so yesterday when we were talking about Hunter Biden, whom I love to stay on, I love to keep my foot on his neck, okay, because I have footage that I can't show here on ScrewTube, but I have footage of him smoking on that crack, okay? Have the footage, and I find it interesting because right next to that footage, I also have his father, President Biden, aka Sleepy Joe, back in the day when he was bragging about the crime bill that he authored, when he was saying, yeah, you know, so under this bill, if you even have a amount of crack that's the size of a quarter, you can get 5 years. Meanwhile, his son's sitting there smoking crack. I want y'all to pay attention, okay? I want you all to pay attention. This is what happens in this country. Please, let's not go there and talk about what hasn't happened before. Because as we can see, there are a myriad of people doing things that have never happened before. All right? I'm just saying, make it all make sense. Another thing is, I saw a picture on yesterday. Someone posted a picture of Martha Stewart, Donald Trump, and Snoop Dogg. And they said on the caption, 2 of these people are convicted felons, and one of them is Snoop Dogg. Or they said one of them is not, neither of them is Snoop Dogg. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention. And then somebody said, well, Snoop, he was a convicted felon because he got charged in the 90s. No. Murder was the case that they gave him, but he was acquitted. So the only 2 felons in that case, in that picture, were Donald Trump and Martha Stewart. I want y'all to pay attention. I want y'all to pay attention. And here's another thing. Let me say this too. So this is what I was saying. I got off track. So Hunter Biden, remember how I told you guys on yesterday that Biden would likely pardon his son if he wins the election, which I pray he doesn't. Okay, that he would likely pardon his son. But then I played you the recording or the video where he said, they claimed that Biden said he would not pardon his son. Now I want y'all to pay attention. Yo, he's not going to pardon him. If he were to win, he wouldn't pardon him. First of all, because now that he said it out loud publicly, how could he do that without getting serious backlash? So, but what he would do is he would commute his sentence. That's what he could do. Now, he didn't say that he wouldn't do that. I want you all to pay attention because, see, the Queen exercises critical thinking skills. So to pardon him would mean that the case just goes away. The conviction goes away. Okay, the conviction is gone. It's no longer valid. But no, so he won't do that. But if he were to commute his sentence, you see, well, then the conviction would stand. He just wouldn't get any jail or prison time. Yeah, Biden would absolutely do that. He never said that he wouldn't. Okay, so please pay attention. Please pay attention. At the end of the day, they think they're so slick. You see, you have to pay attention to what they say because these devils absolutely speak with a forked tongue. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about these allegations against Donald Trump. While that fool is sitting up there talking about ninjas for Trump and he's innocent. Well, he's not that innocent as far as I'm concerned. And let's not forget about the allegations he had against him. He and Jeffrey Epstein. See, they tried to hide this from the headlines back in September of 2016. This is just right before the election that he, in fact, won. I want you all to pay attention. I want you to ask yourselves, if Obama had been accused of such nefarious things right before the election, do you think they would have dared to let Obama win the election? Do you think they would have dared to even have him running? Okay, I just want y'all to pay attention. Now, he had these charges in September of 2016. This is what they hid from view. Didn't want anybody talking about this, but we're going to talk about today because I got the receipts. Okay, I have the full court documents with Donald J. Trump and Jeffrey E. Epstein listed as the ones who are the defendants. So I'm going to share my screen. Lights up, everyone, please like and share. And this is exclusive, mind you, because nobody else has dug up these receipts. Nobody else has reported on this, mind you. So in the United States District Court, Southern District of New York, Jane Doe proceeding under a pseudonym, plaintiff versus Donald J. Trump and Jeffrey E. Epstein is the defendants. So let's get into it. Now, plaintiff Jane Doe proceeding We'll skip over that. Plaintiff is an individual residing in and a citizen of the state of California. Now, upon information and belief, defendants Donald J. Trump and Jeffrey E. Epstein each reside in the district and are citizens of the state of New York. So, jurisdiction and venue. Plaintiff is a citizen of the state of California for purposes of diversity jurisdiction under the statutes. Okay, let's skip past that. Okay, now here are the allegations. gRapE, okay, sexual misconduct, criminal sexual acts, sexual abuse, forcible touching, assault, battery, intentional and reckless infliction of emotional distress, duress, and false imprisonment. Plaintiff was subject to acts of gRapE, sexual misconduct, criminal sexual allegations. I'm gonna skip past all of that because I've already read that to you. Now, defendants, this bodily injury, was supposedly caused by the defendants and took place at several parties during the summer months of 1994. The parties were held by defendant Epstein at a New York City residence that was being used by defendant Epstein at 9 East 71st Street in Manhattan. Okay, sounds like they were having their own freak-offs. And see, this is why I keep telling you guys that Diddy and Trump, they have a lot of similarities. Okay, it's no wonder why they were friends. Okay, it's no wonder why they were friends. Now, with that all being said, during this period, plaintiff was a minor. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention. This is somebody who became the president just a few short months after these allegations and this lawsuit. Now, during this period, plaintiff was a minor, age of 13, and was legally incapable under New York law of consenting to sexual intercourse and the other sexual contacts detailed there herein. Now, the gRapes in the first, second, and third degrees, sexual misconduct, criminal sexual acts in the first, second, and third degrees, sexual abuse in the first, second, and third degrees, and forcible touching on information and belief, predatory sexual assault, detailed herein are unlawful under New York law. Okay? And it has the penal code and all of that. Now, and constitute the torts of inter alia, assault, battery, false imprisonment, and intentional reckless infliction of emotional distress, including threats of force and serious bodily harm under New York law. In addition, 18 U.S. Code Statute 2255 provides plaintiff with a civil remedy for personal injuries because plaintiff, while a minor, was a victim of violations of 18 U.S.C. Statutes 1591, 2421, 2422B, and 2423A. And she suffered personal injury as a result of such violations. Declaration of Plaintiff Jane Doe, Exhibit A, hereto, Declaration of Tiffany Doe, Exhibit B, hereto. Declaration of Joan Doe, Exhibit C, hereto. Now, I guess this is all the evidence they're listing. Hold on, let me skip past some of this. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Now, Joan Doe, a witness, was a childhood classmate of plaintiff who in the 1994 to 1995 school year was told by plaintiff that plaintiff was subject to sexual contact by the defendants at parties in New York during the summer of 1994. Now, I want you to pay attention because you see, this is what was alleged to have happened at parties back in the day. The same thing that the young lady who is suing Diddy says happened when she was 17 at the hands of Diddy, Aaron Hall, and an unidentified person. Okay? I'm sorry. No. Not the Aaron Hall lawsuit, the one with Diddy and Harve Pierre, the former president of Bad Boy, and another unnamed person. Now, she was supposedly 17 at the time. This person, this lawsuit only was 13. Now, courts have discretion to allow proceeding anonymously where the need for privacy outweighs the public's interest in knowing their identity and any prejudice to the defendants. Now, sealed plaintiff versus sealed defendants. This litigation involves matters that are highly sensitive and of a personal nature. An identification of plaintiff would pose risk of retaliatory physical harm to her and others. All of the 10 factors that the Second Circuit articulated as relevant to this analysis for anonymity, especially factors 1 through 4, 7, and 10. Okay, whether the litigation involves matters that are highly sensitive and of a personal nature, and whether identification poses a risk of retaliatory physical or mental harm. Now, the party seeking to proceed anonymously, or even more critically, to innocent non-parties, or are neutral with respect to anonymity. Now, protecting plaintiff's anonymity is also appropriate as she was or is a great victim. Plaintiff was enticed by promises of money. Now, I want you to pay attention, because here's what it's going to sound like. I'm telling you right now, it's going to sound like the same thing that Diddy is dealing with, and the same thing that Weinberg, the guy that was the producer for the show Scrubs, that I just exposed him because they swept that under the rug too, and I showed you the court docs. He was promising them modeling careers and all this stuff. Diddy was promising people Grammy awards and all sorts of money, $250,000 allegedly, in homes and all of that. So plaintiff was enticed by promises of money and a modeling career to attend a series of parties with other similarly situated minor females. Other similarly situated minor females. Now, I want you to pay attention, because this is all what Rodney, Rod, aka Rodney Jones, said in his allegations against Diddy, that there were numerous people there who were SEX workers who were underage. Now, goes on to say, this was held at a New York City residence that was being used by defendant Jeffrey Epstein. At least 4 of the parties were attended by defendant Trump. But this is who was the president, okay? I want you all to pay attention. 2 months after this was filed, he became the president and is now running again. Talk about privilege in this country, but they'll tell you there is none. So, Exhibits A and B. On information and belief, by this time in 1994, defendant Trump had known defendant Epstein for 7 years, okay? And he's quoted as saying on October the 28th of 2002, "I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy," Trump booms from a speakerphone. "He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do. And many of them are on the younger side." I want you all to pay attention. Why wasn't he thrown in prison for this? Well, because of his privilege. And we all know where that comes from. So, no doubt about it, Jeffrey enjoys his social life. And he knew that plaintiff was then just 13 years old. Okay? Knew she was 13 years old. Now, defendant Trump initiated sexual contact with plaintiff at 4 different parties. On the 4th and final sexual encounter with defendant Trump tied plaintiff to a bed, exposed himself to plaintiff, and then proceeded to forcibly grape plaintiff. During the course of this savage sexual attack, plaintiff loudly pleaded with defendant Trump to stop, but with no effect. Defendant Trump responded to plaintiff's pleas for striking plaintiff in the face with his open hand and screaming that he would do whatever he wanted. Why wasn't this broadcast everywhere like they're doing Diddy? I want you all to pay attention. Immediately following this grape, defendant Trump threatened plaintiff that were she ever to reveal any of the details of this sexual and physical abuse of her by defendant Trump, plaintiff and her family would be physically harmed, if not killed. But this is somebody who's running for president and has been the president. Defendant Epstein had sexual contact with plaintiff at 2 of the parties. Now, the second sexual encounter with defendant Epstein took place after plaintiff had been raped by defendant Trump. Now, I want you to pay attention right there again, because this is all reminiscent of Diddy and the allegations against him and Aaron Hall.
How the young lady said Diddy came in there and did what he did without her consent, and then Aaron Hall came in after the fact. So this is the same scenario. So please pay attention. Defendant Epstein forced himself upon plaintiff and proceeded to rape her from the back door. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. Then from the front, despite her loud pleas to stop. Defendant Epstein then attempted to strike plaintiff about the head with his closed fist, while he angrily screamed at plaintiff that he, defendant Epstein, rather than defendant Trump, should have been the one who took plaintiff's virginity before plaintiff finally managed to break away from defendant Epstein. The threats of violence against plaintiff and her family continue, this time from defendant Epstein, who again reiterated that plaintiff was not to reveal any of the details of his sexual and physical abuse of her, or else specifically plaintiff and her family would be seriously physically harmed, if not killed. Imagine a 13-year-old child being told this, as these heinous, nefarious things are being done to her. Okay, please pay attention. This is all so sick and totally disgusting. So, with that all being said, while still under the threats of physical harm, by coming forward and having no reason to believe that the threats have ever been lifted or would ever be lifted, plaintiff, who has suffered from stress, emotional distress, mental pain, and suffering, among other problems, ever since the assaults, was subjected to daily painful reminders of the horrific acts of one of the perpetrators, defendant Trump, via mass media coverage of him starting on or about June 16, 2015, that over a short period of time became continuous and unavoidable. Exhibit A. So when they're saying these exhibits, that means they're showing evidence. Now, as a direct and proximate result of the sexual assaults and rapes perpetrated by defendants upon her, plaintiff has suffered stress, emotional distress, and mental pain and suffering, as well as adverse physical consequences. As a direct and proximate result of the sexual assaults and rapes perpetrated by defendants upon her, plaintiff has suffered physical pain and suffering. Now, as a direct and proximate result of the sexual assaults and rapes perpetrated by defendants upon her, plaintiff has been subjected to public scorn, hatred, and ridicule, and has suffered threats against her life and physical safety when she was just a child when these things allegedly occurred. Now, as a direct and proximate result of the sexual assaults and rapes perpetrated by defendants upon her, plaintiff has incurred special damages, including medical and legal expenses. The sexual assaults and rapes perpetrated by defendants upon plaintiff were intentional acts. The conduct of defendants demonstrates willful, reckless, and intentional conduct that raises a conscious indifference to consequences. At the appropriate time in this litigation, plaintiff shall amend her complaint to assert a claim for punitive damages against defendants in order to punish defendants for their actions and to deter defendants from repeating their conduct. Tolling of statute of limitations. Now, any statute of limitations applicable to GRAPE, sexual misconduct, criminal sexual acts, sexual abuse, forcible touching, assault, battery, intentional and reckless infliction of emotional distress, false imprisonment of a minor, if any, is told owing to the continuous and active duress imposed upon plaintiff by defendants that effectively robbed plaintiff of her free will to commence legal action until the present time. Because she couldn't do anything, she was a child. Now, more particularly, plaintiff was unrelenting, threatened by each defendant that were she ever to reveal any of the details of the sexual and physical abuse caused to her by the defendants, plaintiff and her family would be physically harmed if not killed. The duress has not terminated and the fear has not subsided. The duress is an element of or inherent in the underlying causes of action complained of herein. The duress and coercion exerted by defendants has been such as to have actually deprived plaintiff of her freedom of will to institute suit earlier in time. And it rose to such a level that a person of reasonable firmness in plaintiff's situation would have been unable to resist. She was helpless. Both defendants let plaintiff know that each was a very wealthy, powerful man and indicated that they had the power, ability, and means to carry out their threats. Indeed, defendant Trump stated that plaintiff shouldn't ever say anything if she didn't want to disappear like Maria, a 12-year-old female that was forced to be involved in the third incident with defendant Trump, and that plaintiff had not seen since. I want you all to pay attention, since that third incident, and that he was capable of having her whole family killed. So he allegedly told her that she didn't want to disappear like Maria, who was only 12. Okay, only 12 years old and forced to participate in a third event, because remember, they said that Jeffrey Epstein assaulted this woman when she was a child, that he allegedly did these things twice and that Trump did it 4 times. And on the third incident, Maria was there and she disappeared, allegedly. Now, the duress had prevented plaintiff from starting litigation before this year. However, as soon as she surfaced, she received threats. More specifically, shortly after her first complaint was filed in California on April the 26th of 2016, she started receiving threatening phone calls on her cell phone. Defendants are equitably stopped from arguing that any statute of limitations has not been told, as defendants wrongfully forced plaintiff to refrain from timely commencing this action by threats, duress, and other misconduct. Okay, and then they reference Zimmerman v. Poly Prep Country Day School, which is another case. They say a wrongdoer should not be able to take refuge behind the shield of his own wrongdoing. So they list the cases about that: General Stencils Inc. versus Chippa, and this is from 1966. So basically, you know, the fact that she said that they both threatened her if she went forward and said anything, and of course she didn't have any way to fight back or whatever. She was a kid at the time. So even if the statute of limitations had passed, well, she should still be able to come forward, is what they're saying, because the person who did such things cannot take refuge and hide behind a shield of their own wrongdoing. Moreover, this action has been brought before the facts giving rise to the estoppel have ceased to be operational, i.e., while still under threats of physical harm, by coming forward and having no reason to believe that the threats have ever been lifted or would ever be lifted. And since plaintiff has decided to seek redress at this time, plaintiff seeks an order of protection in favor of plaintiff and all associated with her, so as to protect them from harm and harassment from defendants and their agents and associates. Now imagine coming out with all of this, and then shortly thereafter, the person who you're alleging has done these things to you becomes the president. Just 2 months down the line, becomes the president. Okay? Now, defamation. On information and belief, on or about April the 28th of 2016, defendant Trump provided the following statement to American Media Inc. and or Radar Online LLC for publication on at least their website, radaronline.com, regarding plaintiff's complaint, filed in the United States District Court for the Central District of California, saying that the allegations are not only categorically false, but disgusting at the highest level and clearly framed to solicit media attention, or perhaps are simply politically motivated. There is absolutely no merit to these allegations, period. Isn't that the same thing that Diddy's attorney said, that it was meritless and that it was all done, for media attention, basically a clout chase? Isn't that what he said about Tyrone Blackburn, who filed those charges against Diddy? Now, the statement provided for publication by defendant Trump was published by said website and has been republished elsewhere in the whole or in part numerous times, and similar statements of an attorney for defendant Trump were also published, including on September the 22nd of 2016 by Courthouse News Service. The statements provided for publication by defendant Trump and his agent, and that were published by said websites are false as they pertain to plaintiff. So basically saying that Trump was lying on the plaintiff. Now, the published statements are libelous on their face and clearly expose plaintiff to hatred, contempt, ridicule, okay? And all this is also crazy. So they're basically trying to say that she just lied and basically acted like she made all this up. And that's likely why she will be receiving these threats. Because we already know that Trumpsters, they believe everything that he says. And that's just a fact. Please pay attention. Hold on, beloveds. Okay, so now goes on to say, as a proximate result of the above described publications, plaintiff has suffered loss of her reputation, shame, mortification, and injury to her feelings, all to her damage in an amount to be established by proof at trial. Now, this was filed September the 30th of 2016, mind you. Okay, the above described publications were not privileged because they were published by defendant Trump and his agent with malice, hatred, and ill will toward plaintiff and the desire to injure her. As a direct and proximate result of defendant Trump's defamation of plaintiff, plaintiff has been subjected to public scorn, hatred, and ridicule and has suffered other injury. Now, prayer for relief. Wherefore, plaintiff prays for judgment against defendants and for the following relief. A, that judgment be entered against defendants for special damages, compensatory damages, and punitive damages in an amount which shall be shown to be reasonable and just by the evidence and in excess of $75,000, exclusive of interest and cost. That all costs of this action be assessed against defendants, including all reasonable attorney's fees, costs, and expenses of this action. That an order of protection in favor of plaintiff and all associated with her be issued so as to protect them from harm and harassment from defendants and their agents and associates, and such other and further relief as the court may deem just and proper. And those were points A through D. And this is all so crazy. Now, let me see what this is. Status of earlier filed case. If so, set forth a procedure which resulted in closure, voluntary dismissal, settlement, court decision. Also state whether there is an appeal pending. Okay, so they have it marked as closed. Now, explain in detail the reasons for your position that the newly filed case is related to the earlier filed case. Both actions concern the identical parties, property, transactions, and events, and there is complete identical factual overlap. And this is signed by Thomas Francis Meagher on September the 30th of 2016. Declaration in support of plaintiff's request for protective order. I, Jane Doe, the plaintiff in this matter, proceeding under a pseudonym, state as follows. Number one, I'm a competent adult over 18 years of age, able to testify as to personal knowledge. The facts in this declaration are true and correct to the best of my knowledge, information, and belief, and I am competent to testify to them if called upon to do so. Number two, I was subject to extreme sexual and physical abuse by the defendants, including forcible gRapE, that took place at several parties of defendant Epstein during the summer of 1994 in New York City at a residence used by defendant Epstein. During this period, I was 13 years old. And then number three, more particularly, I traveled by bus to New York City in June of 1994 in the hope of starting a modeling career. I went to several modeling agencies, but was told that I needed to put a to put together a modeling portfolio before I would be considered. I then went to the Port Authority in New York City to start to make my way back home. There I met a woman who introduced herself to me as Tiffany. She told me about the parties and said that if I would join her at these parties, I would be introduced to people who could get me into the modeling profession. Tiffany also told me I would be paid for attending. I wonder where her parents were when all of this was going on, because she says that she came there in the hopes of having a modeling career. Now, at the age of 13, who were her parents and where were they? Now, the parties were held at a New York City residence that was being used by defendant Jeffrey Epstein. Each of the parties had other minor females and a number of guests of Mr. Epstein, including defendant Donald Trump, at 4 of the parties I attended. I understood that both Mr. Trump and Mr. Epstein knew that I was 13 years old. Now, defendant Trump had sexual contact with me at 4 different parties in the summer of 1994. On the 4th and final sexual encounter with defendant Trump tied me to a bed, exposed himself to me, and then proceeded to forcibly rape me. During the course of the savage sexual attack, I loudly pleaded with defendant Trump to stop, but he would not. Defendant Trump responded to my pleas by violently striking me in the face with his open hand and screaming that he would do whatever he wanted. Immediately following this rape, defendant Trump threatened me that if I were to ever reveal any of the details of defendant Trump's sexual and physical abuse of me, my family and I would be physically harmed, if not killed. Defendant Epstein had sexual contact with me at 2 of the parties that summer. On the second occasion involving defendant Epstein forced himself upon me and proceeded to rape me from the back door and the front, despite my loud pleas to stop. Defendant Epstein had attempted to strike me about the head with his closed fist while he angrily screamed at me that he, defendant Epstein, should have been the one to break my virginity, not defendant Trump, before I finally managed to break away from defendant Epstein. This is all so sad. Immediately following this rape, just like defendant Trump, defendant Epstein threatened me. Okay, so this is just reiterating what has already been said. Let me just double check. Yeah, this is reiterating what's already been said. And then you can see where Tiffany Doe, who also used a synonym, she was a supposed witness. I do believe she signed the documents, and so did Joan Doe, who was using a pseudonym. And she basically says, I am a competent adult over 18 years of age, able to testify as to personal knowledge. The facts in this declaration are true and correct to the best of my knowledge, information, and belief, and I am competent to testify to them if called upon to do so. In 1994 through 1995 school year, I was told by the plaintiff, Jane Doe versus Trump and Epstein, that the plaintiff was subject to sexual contact by the defendants at parties in New York City during the summer of 1994. And she signed this July the 23rd of 2016. Okay, so this is really crazy. Now, this is what the witness says. The other person who's listed as Doe. I personally witnessed the one occasion where Mr. Trump forced the plaintiff and a 12-year-old female named Maria to perform fellatio, on Mr. Trump, and witnessed his physical abuse of both minors when they finished the act. This is what a witness said. Now, I personally witnessed or was made immediately aware of the 2 occasions where my boss, Mr. Epstein, attempted to rape and Sodom and Gomorrah the plaintiff. I personally witnessed Mr. Epstein as he sexually and physically abused other minor females, even younger than her. This is all sick, including nefarious. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. And upon some information that I came across recently, I'm not so sure that, in fact, Jeffrey Epstein is even dead, okay? I'm not even so sure, because from some very good information that I got, he just might be over in Israel. But let me continue. It was my job to personally witness and supervise encounters between the underage girls that Mr. Epstein hired and his guests. I personally witnessed Mr. Trump physically threaten the life and well-being of the plaintiff if she ever revealed any details of the physical and sexual abuse suffered by her at the hands of Mr. Trump. I personally witnessed Mr. Epstein physically threaten the life and the well-being of the plaintiff if she ever revealed details of the physical and sexual abuse she suffered at the hands of Mr. Epstein or any of his guests. I personally witnessed defendant Trump telling the plaintiff that she shouldn't ever say anything if she didn't want to disappear like the 12-year-old female Maria, and that he was capable of having her entire family killed. This is all so sick. After leaving the employment of Mr. Epstein in the year of 2000, I was personally threatened by Mr. Epstein that I would be killed and my family would be killed as well if I ever disclosed any of the physical and sexual abuse of minor females that I had personally witnessed by Mr. Epstein or any of his guests. I am coming forward to swear to the truthfulness of this physical and sexual abuse that I personally witnessed of minor females at the hands of Mr. Trump and Mr. Epstein, including the plaintiff by the time of my employment from the years of 1990 to 2000 for Mr. Epstein. I swear to these facts under penalty of perjury, and even though I fully understand that the life of myself and my family is now in grave danger, I declare under penalty of perjury that the foregoing is true and correct. And Tiffany Doe is the pseudonym she used, and she signed this on June the 18th of 2016. Ooh, that is a lot. That is a whole lot. Okay? So what do you all have to say about that? What do you all have to say about that? This is all so crazy. T. Cope said this has been on record since 2016. Yes. This is what they hid, okay? This is what they hid. So, T. of y'all said, Laverne, he's not dead. They're protecting him and hiding him. I absolutely think so. Okay, upon other information, I absolutely think so. Sophie said, too much, Queen, okay? AJ said he on his secluded island. No, I don't think he's there. I think he's over there in Israel. Someone said that he was with Mossad. Some information that I got from a very reliable source. I'm not saying that he is, I'm just telling you the information that I got. And I find it also interesting. But hold on, because that wasn't the only case against Trump. So let's talk about this other one, which was in fact filed January the 13th, just last year. January the 13th of 2023. And this man's running to be the president again. I just want you all to pay attention. Okay? I want you all to pay attention. At the end of the day, this is all so crazy. And clearly nefarious. Clearly nefarious. Now, let me put my overlay on there, or my watermark. So, United States District Court, Southern District of New York, E. Jean Carroll is the plaintiff against Donald J. Trump. So let's get into it. I may not go through this whole thing. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what, beloveds. Hold on. We're already an hour and 14 minutes in. I'm not going to go through that because it's 21 pages. It's 21 pages, and we'll go through that one tomorrow. Okay? We'll go through that one tomorrow. Overthought says, I wonder if it feels less conspiratorial to people now than it did back then. Exactly, right? Trump was sued more than 500 times. He, Epstein, and Israel, and the other people all get away. Nothing will happen to them. Exactly. Okay, exactly. So with that all being said, Laverne said couch 2024. Okay, so I find it all very interesting. And like I said, I'll talk about the other lawsuit against Trump tomorrow on the main channel. And then I think I may do a side-by-side comparison of these allegations against Trump and Diddy because they're very similar. I just want you all to pay attention. Okay. Naja Israel said, Queen, why would a 13-year-old be at those parties? What do you mean, why would they be there? Because they were groomed and bought there, beloved, and offered money. Sometimes there's homeless teenagers who run away, and these are the things that happen. They get sex trafficked. That's been going on for decades. Another thing is the same thing is supposedly what happened to Diddy. A lot of these kids who come up missing, this is what happens to them. They're trafficked, okay, in the worst of ways. Why would they be at that party? Because like she said, someone told her about these parties, told her these people could help her become a model, and told her she would be paid for her attendance. What they didn't tell her is what she was going to have to do to get paid. Okay, so that's how that would happen. I mean, like I said, the same allegations were against Diddy. Let's not forget Rodney Jones alleged that there were underage girls at Diddy's parties as well. How do you think these girls get there? Listen, Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison right now. Ghislaine Maxwell was the one who was going out recruiting these girls for Epstein. That's how they get there. They have someone who goes to recruit them. And so usually it's a woman because a woman is more easily trusted by young girls. So that's how that all went down, beloved. It's all nefarious, no matter how we slice it. Okay? No matter how we slice it. So with that all being said, everyone please like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Like I said, we'll get into that other lawsuit tomorrow on the main channel. Okay? And with that all being said, I hope you all enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember to keep the Most High first in your lives. Okay, so Queen Sam says, so Tiffany wasn't Gazelle. I don't even know who Gazelle is, beloved, but no, I don't think so. Her name is listed as Tiffany Doe, so I don't know who she is. That's the pseudonym that she used, so I can't say it. They don't list it in the paperwork that I have, so I have no idea. T-Cope said again, vulnerable girl seeking fame. Shaking my head. Exactly. Sierra says, not the little girl, but the other adults that saw. Albert says their parents brought them like Tevin Campbell, Chris Brown, Usher, etc. Yeah, this is what happens. This is what happens. So let me tell you all something. This reminds me of when I myself was 13 years old and I went to modeling school. When I graduated, after we had like our fashion show and I graduated, they told my mother that they wanted me to go to New York. They wanted me to go to a modeling agency in New York that could get me signed and all of that. And my mother wasn't going for it. My mother was not going for it. Now, they didn't want my mother to go, mind you. They wanted to take me. Now, of course, I'm 13 years old. Of course, I wanted to go. I don't know anything about any of this stuff, okay? And I'm just thinking, like, why isn't she letting me go? She paid all this money for me to go to modeling school, and now she's not going to let me go. But I wanted to go. They said they wanted me to go to a New York West modeling agency, if I'm not mistaken. But nonetheless, they wanted to take me there, and we would have chaperones, but they didn't want my mother to come. And my mother was like, no. Okay, so thank God she said no, because at the time, I was so annoyed, because I really wanted to go. So, with that all being said, everyone, all perplexed, I love you right black, beloved. Okay? So with that all been said, everyone please like and share, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, be sure to click that notification bell, click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right, everyone enjoy the rest of this beautiful day, and I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
With that soul all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther. shed blood like Cont. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like,
oh, I'm sorry, hold on. I see someone was asking, okay, so when Queen Sam was asking me about Giselle, so you were talking about Ghislaine Maxwell. You must have put the wrong name. I didn't realize you were talking about Ghislaine Maxwell. Okay, did she talk to this young girl? Didn't say that she spoke to her. I don't know who recruited these young girls at the time. This was in 1994. I don't know if Ghislaine was even with Epstein at that point, or if she was the one that he sent out to recruit them, beloved. So Ghislaine, she's in prison right now because that is what she was doing, though. She was going out and recruiting these younger girls, like 13, 14, and 15 years old. And then what she would also do is have the girls recruit other girls. So let's just say, for example, if a 14-year-old was recruited by Ghislaine, and then that person came and did whatever, and they made their few dollars, then they would say, well, you know, if you find some other girls, then we'll give you money for them. So money persuades people sometimes to do nefarious things. So some of these girls would go out and then recruit other girls like their friends. So that's how that went. Skeletor fan said your life would have been jacked up, Queen. I know, honey, okay? I dodged a lot of bullets. Please pay attention. Okay? So with that all being said, let me go back to the music. See you all later. Peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Cont. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. That's See right. A bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got